TitleMatchNetwork.com.
You know, I didn't have a whole lot of success here because I went to Florida, and after that I went to the Carolinas, and then after that I went to New York, and then Carolinas, New York, back and forth like that, so I never came to Texas, only if Paul Blosh would fly me in. It was like a fly-in town where he'd fly talent in from New York or wherever, so I'd come in and do a Sam Houston Coliseum for Paul Blosh. But Texas, I can only say, I didn't have a great bitch of luck, a whole lot of luck here. In Texas, the timing was off for me. But my dad, oh my God, he was here forever. And he had great matches, and great matches with Wahoo and Fritz Von Erich, and then there was Bull Curry, and he just had, and Paul Blosh loved to talk about Johnny Valentine, but he had a lot of success here and then he went to the Carolinas and had even bigger success. But Texas was always, you know, I guess you had the Amarillo territory with the Funks, and you had Dallas territory, and you had Joe Blanchard in San Antonio, Paul. So it was like 4 different territories all squished into one. Texas, and then they had that, back in the day, they had Texas, wrestling from Texas, and it would go all over the country. So that was way before WWF took over everything.
Yeah.
So it was nationwide TV, Texas Championship Wrestling.
Yeah, so there was already a national push from Texas.
Yes.
Where do you think because you wrestled with the Von Erichs, you said Fritz, of course, you know, the father. Where do you think the Texas territory itself would have gone if those tragedies hadn't happened with the Von Erich family? Do you think they would have been able to compete on a national stage? Because you said like Texas already had national TV, and World Class was doing a lot, you know, big gates. Do you think they would have had a shot at competing?
Not with the WWF, no. Vince would have bought him out, because he went into every place and he bought TV and put his product. And they probably would have hung on a lot longer, but those guys ended up working for Vince anyway, especially Kerry.
That's right.
You know, he was a Texas Tornado, so yeah, it was just a time for a whole different thing. And if Vince hadn't ever started up his nationwide takeover, I used to go up to Vince. I'd have a meeting when I'd say, what are you doing? Why are you? Because I had a lot of friends that I worked for, and I go, what about all these people? You know, he says, I have to do it, Greg, because my company is going to be nationwide. And I understood that. So, you know, no more questions. He wants to be nationwide. WWF is nationwide. It's not just in New York and Massachusetts. It's nationwide, so I understood that. And those guys could jump on board and but he's going to wipe them out with his money and his TV. So it was just time for a whole new deal. If that hadn't happened, Texas could have survived, but I think they were all ready for something else, you know. Florida Championship Wrestling was good on its own too, but it's all about being nationwide now. Then was worldwide after that.
You're right. It was inevitable, basically.
Yeah, it was inevitable. Now there's AEW, there's WWE. They're going to be the big ones no matter what. So WWF still I should say, is still the big one in my opinion.
AEW is still, you know, I mean,
they're number 2, but they're good. They're good. You got to have competition. Competition makes everything better.
TitleMatchNetwork.com